Hey everyone, Kelly here from Echolocity, and today I want to take you through my 5 favorite features in Smartsheet. So the first feature that I want to share with you is a small but powerful feature, and that is the row link. So let's just say you want to reference a specific row in a conversation with a colleague. You have a question about a task in the project plan, or you have an update for them regarding a specific row in your grade log. You can actually access the row link and send it to them so they know exactly what you're talking about. So here, on the side of any row, you can click on the 3 dots and you can go to properties, and then you can copy this row here or this link here. And then you can, if you see and you pop it into a new browser window or new tab, it's actually going to take you right to that row. It's going to highlight the row. So when you're sending it to your team member, they're going to be taken right to the item that you want to discuss with them. So again, a small but really powerful feature, and usually a big favorite when I share that with some of our clients. The next feature that I want to talk about is conversations. So similarly to the row link, it's a way that you can really keep a conversation organized to a specific, again, task, or maybe it's a risk or an issue on your grade log. I like the row link because sometimes you may have another platform that you conversate through, whether that's Microsoft Teams or Slack or something along those lines. Maybe it's Zoom. That's where the row link comes in really handy. But if you want a conversation to stay living within your Smartsheet environment, conversations is the way to go. So over on the left-hand side, every single row has the ability to add a comment. In the conversation functionality, you can tag other people, which will then trigger an email to them, or you can just simply leave a comment. Here is my update on this task, right? You can leave attachments. This is going to put your name, and it's going to date and timestamp it. Right now it says just now, but as time goes on, it will say October 25th at 4:03 p.m., which is the time that I just left this comment. And then you can have conversations back and forth. You can have reply threads. It's just a really powerful feature that I honestly think is a little bit underutilized and could be more utilized to keep specific content and conversations, again, organized to a specific line item in your sheet in Smartsheet. Something that they've recently rolled out that kind of goes hand in hand with this is a new column type. It's not so new anymore, probably been around for over a year, but it's the latest comment column. So I'm going to right click to add a new column, and I'm going to add a column to my right, and I'm going to select latest comment. Now, what this is going to do is it is automatically going to bring in the most recent comment from the commenting conversations thread. So you can see Kelly Pratt, here's my update on this task. The reason why I find this so powerful is I have seen many times where clients have, this comments column, which, if you want to have a comment column to add a specific link as you see here, or like a specific note on the task, great. But if you want somewhere where you want to leave consistent updates, maybe it's a task that is longer in duration or just a more complex task or deliverable. I have seen in some solutions where users are, using one box to add updates weekly. So it has the date and then their initials and then the comment and then, some spaces. And then all of a sudden you have this really long-winded, cell with information. It makes it difficult to scroll if you're using wrap texting. So if you use conversations instead of doing that, again, it's going to say who left the comment. It's going to date and timestamp it for you so you don't have to. And then you can still see the most recent comment, which is typically the one that you care about the most, right? What is the most recent update? You can see that right within your sheet, and it's going to be succinct and say who left the comment and what the comment was. So highly recommend that people use this combination of features, the conversations and latest comment column, rather than keeping these updates in one long cell that makes it difficult, from a usability perspective. So that is my second favorite feature. My next favorite feature that I want to talk about is Smartsheet's Save as New functionality. Let me go over here. You can save as new any asset in Smartsheet and any folder in Smartsheet. So you can save as new a sheet, a report, a dashboard, or an entire folder. Here's where the power of this comes in. if you save an entire folder, let's say you have formula connections going from one sheet to another, those formula connections are going to be there in the new folder environment that you've created and not connecting back to the original. So that's really powerful to be able to say, okay, here I've built this template or I've built this set of sheets that connects to each other in a certain way. Now I can save as new the entire folder and then have that same template solution working in another folder, replicating out whether it's for projects or some other type of use case. It allows you to really replicate. Another amazing use case for this is reports. So let's just say you want to create a new project report. Actually, going to go back in here. The longest part of creating a report is selecting your columns, resizing them, and putting them in the order that you want, right? If you're familiar with Smartsheet, you know this. When you save as new a report, you save the time of that, and all you need to do is go in and update your filters. So I want to create a new CRADE report. So I'm going to right click and click Save as New. I want to do CRADE due in the next 7 days. Okay, that's going to save my new report. I am going to pop right in there. And all I need to do, look, it already has the columns I want in the order I want with the correct width that I want. Now I just need to go change my filters because this isn't representing the data that I would like. So I definitely want it to be status is not one of closed. This is specific to this client, so we'll leave that. But let's just say now I want the due date to be in the next 7 days. Now, I was able to create and update this report in likely a minute or less, versus if I were to create it from scratch, it would probably take me 2 to 3 minutes. So huge savings there. One of my favorite features, highly recommend. The next feature that I want to talk about, which is my number 4, and these, for the record, aren't actually in order of most favorite to least favorite, but just my top 5 generally. It's Forms. So Forms is a pretty foundational functionality within Smartsheet. Forms, if you're not familiar, connect with a sheet. So if you're on a sheet, you can go to this Forms tab here and click Manage Forms. What's really cool about Smartsheet Forms is that you can have as many as you want on a sheet. So how a form in Smartsheet works is, let me go to Edit. Your form fields are essentially column types, or the columns that are within the sheet. So any column that you have in the sheet can be made a form field, but you don't have to use every field or every column from the sheet to be a field in your form. In the form, you can change the label so it can say something completely different. You can form it as a question versus the name of the column. You can add help text. You can display your data in different ways. You can also add default values. So just generally speaking, the form functionality in Smartsheet is really great, really easy to use. There's conditional logic. So you can say, okay, if they select IT, then I want you to ask me this question. If they select operations, I want you to ask this question. So you can customize it for different use cases. And just to go back to the beginning, in addition to that, you can also have as many forms as you want. So let's say there's a couple different audiences using a particular form. You can customize each form for that particular audience, whether that means you're using the same fields, but you're asking the questions slightly differently, or you're formatting kind of the description of the overall form differently, or branding in a specific way, or if you want to show completely different fields for the different use cases, you have different columns that you need filled out for one versus another. So really versatile feature, again, really foundational for Smartsheet, and just one of the most easy to use, and definitely one we use frequently. A few use cases are project request forms, also CRADE log, submission forms is another big one as well. All right, so now we're up to number 5 for my favorite features. So this one is a newer one, and I know this has been out for, or been, had a lot of buzz for quite some time now, but personally, I'm actually really just starting to use AI more and more. And Smartsheet is pushing out their AI tools more as well. So there are, clicking on the wrong button. At the bottom here, we have generate with AI tools, and there are 3 different options. I'm not going to jump into all of those right now. I have another video that I've done on these AI tools if you're interested in. But the highlight is the generate formulas. This is a really awesome tool for users that are not as familiar with formulas, or maybe you're just getting started and not quite comfortable yet. And even those of us who are resident experts in formulas, it can be really helpful to ask this AI tool to provide you with a formula so that you don't have to spend the time to figure it out. Maybe you can figure it out, but you want to save that 10, 15, 30 minutes of your time to do something else that's more impactful. So let me see. I already have a formula in here, but this is an example of a formula that I would use. So you can say, actually have one already typed out. I'm going to paste it in. You can say, I need a formula for the project health based on the other health columns. So I'm saying, okay, I want it to be red if any of them are red. I want it to be yellow if 2 or more are yellow. I want it to be red if 3 are yellow, right? And you can just put all the criteria in here, click generate formula. It's going to populate with a formula. And then you can even apply that to your selected cell. Boom. So if I make this red, it's going to change it red. If I make a few of them yellow, it's going to make it yellow. So it is following exactly what I told it to follow. And again, for me, I actually could probably figure out how to write this formula just with my experience as a solution builder, but this saved me a lot of time for having to write that formula. So definitely highly recommend starting to check that out. As a caveat, it does not do cross-sheet formulas yet, only within Sheet. So just be aware of that. But if you have any within Sheet formulas, definitely give it a look. All right. Well, that's it for today. Those are my 5 favorite features. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more tips and tricks in Smartsheet and other work management platforms.